Okay, looks like we got a new update. Makes sense, there was a lot of lag in the game. PvP about to be fixed. Okay, new update, new game. Let's get into this first match right here. Error. Doesn't seem right. Let's try it again. Another error? What is going on? I thought they fixed this. Did the update make the game worse? Error! Yo, this is about to tilt me right now. I'm barely 2900. There's people at 3700. Why are these queues taking 10 minutes? Holy sh**, we found a battle. Hype! Been waiting all day for this. Wait a minute. What is going on? Niantic! Seriously? Niantic, fix your damn game! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Lee Clark, thank you for the support. In today's video, we're taking a look at the Love Cup, and we are featuring one of many holes that are available to explore in this Love Cup, and this one is the Electricole. Got this team idea from an infographic I saw in Go Stadium. Basically a bunch of, I guess, meme teams, but at the same time they're not really a meme because everybody's using them. So this is one of the lesser used ones. This is the Electricole with the double electric in the back. What I like about this team is that there isn't really a hard counter for electric in this meta, so Electrode is very, very good. Rotom obviously does have some weaknesses because of its part water typing. However, it does seem like a pretty interesting team running Charizard in the lead with Fire Spin. Didn't want to invest in the Elite TM4 wing attack just yet, and we're going to see how this team does. Obviously every team does have its weaknesses, and in this video you're going to see a bunch of losses, a bunch of wins. Got a nice mixture of both, so should be a good video. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so the Love Cup is upon us. Do you feel the love in the air? What I've seen from this format so far is that it is a cup of holes. It's all about finding the right hole that suits you, and just find the hole that you love and go at it. So Charizard here into Electrode, very difficult lead. Bring in my own Electrode. What you're going to notice about this team immediately is that we don't have a good answer for an Electrode. So I come into my own. We're already in Hyper Beam. I'm going to go for that right away against this Clefable, and a lot of people are aware of the Hyper Beams on Electrode at this point, so they do shield up. Because of that, I'm not going to be able to get to the second move, so no discharge, but it's totally fine. I bring in the Charizard here. Now, kind of a problematic situation because both of my Pokemon now, Rotom and Charizard, are weak to Electrode, so I think my best play here is to completely farm down this Clefable, expecting the Electrode to probably come back in, have energy to throw at it. So let's see what happens here. They have an Alomomola. It's going to be pretty hard, but most likely they have double charm team, I'm guessing. So Electrode comes back in. Gonna throw the Blast Burn immediately, hoping they don't shield this. If they do shield, as you see here, I'm going to have to shield this move because I will get to this Blast Burn. Blast Burn does a lot of damage still to Electrode, so it's imperative that I get this move off. We let in the extra Volt Switch, but that's totally fine. Just want to get off this Blast Burn. Now switch into the Rotom to farm down, boom, before that Volt Switch comes in. And it's a Wormadam in the back actually, so they were weak to that Charizard, but Rotom with Hydro Pump is actually pretty good here against Wormadam. This Hydro Pump's going to do a lot of damage because that almost takes it out. And the Charizard should still have enough health to land this one. Fire Spin. Fire Spin will register before the Confusion does, so we're actually able to take that game right there. Super clutch performance. Let's move into match number 2 against Blue Impact 2014 here. And we are going to be leading Charizard into a Wormadam trash, so this is a very positive lead for Charizard, of course, much better than the Electrode. Opponent switches on to Medicham, so I'm going to bring in the Electrode here. Electrode versus Medicham isn't the greatest matchup, but obviously this is bait dependent, so they threw a bit too early here, so I knew it was going to be a power-up punch. Still, it's going to add up with this counter damage, trying to sneak in the extra Volt Switch there, and shield up this move. Even if it is a power punch, we have no choice now. Have to start shielding. We let in the extra counter, which is very bad because that could flip this matchup. Get the discharge through. Gonna try and see if I get to 2. Looking very close. Didn't think I would, so I'm just going for the hyper beam here since I would not be able to get to 2 moves. Hope this goes through. It does not, and we get farmed down. So letting in that extra counter really hurt us there. I do give up switch. Now I do have a shield advantage, so I'm gonna shield up this move right here, expecting the Psychic. It is. That's a very good call. They bring in Electrode. I need to get off this Blast Burn because my Rotom has no play really here against Electrode. That almost KOs, and look at that. We are in a good spot once again. They come back in with the Medicham, so what I want to do here, throw the Dragon Claw, expecting this to be CMP tie, and I'm going to look to switch into Rotom immediately after throwing this to catch the move. There it is. So we do catch the move here, which is very important. It's actually only a power punch, so it wouldn't have mattered too much, but just in case it was a Psychic or some sort of ice punch or something weird, I did want to catch that onto the Rotom. And we got a bit of an energy lead here. You see another Wormadam trash in the back. Gonna hit it with this Hydro Pump. So much damage. And even if they were to knock us out here, we would be able to come into Charizard and farm down. But Iron Head doesn't KO. Finish the job off with Rotom Wash, who is washing away this competition. KinnikuChan here in the next matchup, and we are going to be leading a Charizard into a Magcargo. This is one of the worst leads you could see with this team, of course. Safe swap into Electrode, which doesn't have the best matchup either against Magcargo, but I guess it's decent. You can make the argument that I could switch into Rotom here as well, but Electrode seems to perform. I think Electrode's probably the best safe switch in this whole meta, and it's actually a really good lead too. It's just really good everywhere, so you're pretty safe coming in with Electrode almost every time. And you could see here at this point, I want to get rid of this Magcargo because that is the biggest threat to my Charizard. Hoping that they have something in the back I could deal with. And I am going to throw this discharge here because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to farm down before they got to another move. Just want to ensure that I get the shield or I get switch. And they choose to let it go down. They bring in Slowbro though, which it's kind of weird bringing Slowbro into Electrode, so it makes me think maybe they have double water, and if that is the case, it's pretty much GG's here because there's nothing I could do because the Charizard basically becomes useless against this entire team. So I'm thinking it's probably a triple counter team to Charizard, in which case, even though I have double electric, I would lose to double water because of that Magcargo lead onto the Charizard. Gonna throw the Thunderbolt here, which will KO, but you can see my Rotom is solo, and there is the Alomomola. And Charizard does not want to see that, so pretty much game over. Nothing I can do here, just back out, take that loss, move into the next one here. 62 years old, so this is a very, very experienced battle right here. Many years of training under his belt, and he's leading a Wormadam trash into Charizard. Switches out into Medicham, we meet it with an Electrode. So Electrode here, again, not the best matchup, is bait dependent, but gonna let this first, no, I'm gonna shield it. Okay, it seemed like a power up punch rewatching this, but I guess I thought it was a foul play at the time. Do shield that up here. Gonna throw the discharge and totally expecting this Medicham to shield at this point. Don't really think they want to give up switch, so gonna shield up now. They probably have enough for a Psychic. Kind of makes more sense to go for the power up punch here if you are the Medicham, and I did prevent the extra counter from coming in, which is really good. Gonna get off this discharge, gets the second shield, and now it's basically a race to the next move. Because they threw Psychic action instead of Power Punch, I think that's why I'm able to get this discharge here and take this matchup in the 2 shields. So we are down both shields now, both of us, but we did maintain switch. So that means I'm going to keep the Charizard onto the Wormadam. But look at this, they have an Electrode. So this is pretty brutal for me. And I know they got 1 Volt Switch in, so I'm going to come in here with Charizard. And I'm actually going to try to catch this move onto the Rotom, which we're able to do. So I need to keep that Charizard alive here. Will they switch out at this point? They probably will. They're probably going to bank a move. Can I get to this Hydro Pump in time? Though we are able to get to the Hydro Pump, and this is going to allow me to farm down this Rotom, leaving enough health on it for me to get to Blast Burn. I will be able to win CMP tie here against the Electrode, even if it has a move, and Blast Burn is going to be enough to take this game. So fortunate for us that we did have enough energy there. Left the Wormadam trash with enough health to get to the Blast Burn and win that game. HR Teemo 107 here in the next matchup. And we're leading Charizard into a Shadow Vileplume. So Shadow Vileplume is very prevalent here in this meta. That's a great lead for Charizard. They switch on to Crustle. It's horrible for me. And I stayed in a bit too long there. Definitely do not like that. That's probably going to end up costing me in this match. Don't know what I was thinking there. I was probably trying to switch out but missing the spot that you click on. I do that pretty often. And I'm going to go for the discharge here. Now it's a bit unfortunate that I believe they hit me with the bait move there. So they are going to get to the next move now. It's just a rock slide, it's game over. I take a huge risk here expecting the X Scissor is a rock slide. Huge mistake on my part. Didn't want to go down 2 shields, but I gave up switch instead. And now they get to avoid that Vileplume Charizard matchup, and instead they're going to have Vileplume onto my Rotom, which basically makes this match impossible to win. And you could see, man, I don't know. It was just the late switch in the secondary matchup is what cost me this, obviously, because I would have been able to beat that. What did they switch into? The Crustle? Yeah, I would have been able to beat the Crustle with the Electrode, but it took too long to swap, so lesson learned there. Next matchup, we got Charizard into a Scrafty. So this is another one of those matchups which could go either way, very bait dependent. Obviously a lot better if you have wing attack, but we are already in fire spin here, so I do call the foul play. I find that most people tend to like to go for the foul play the first time, and they also, well, I guess this guy didn't like to shield. I think they usually like to shield, that's why I go for the Dragon Claw, but this guy is not shielding, so now he shields, get the Dragon Claw. And at this point I think I'm going to shield this up, go for another Dragon Claw here. I don't know if I'll be able to beat it to 2 Dragon Claws. This is probably looking like a winnable matchup for them at this point if they want to invest 2 shields, but they choose to let it go instead. Taking the shield advantage, so I immediately swap out into Electrode, keep my Charizard in the back just in case it's needed in the end. And you can see the opponent's actually staying in this matchup, which is a little bit strange, but totally fine. I'm going to get to the second discharge here, which is going to force the shield if they want to keep this Wormadam alive, and they do. So they're going to have to throw energy here. Bug Buzz will pretty much KO from this range, or just about. And they'll be able to farm me down with 1 Confusion. Now I can bring in the Charizard here, but if I remember correctly, I actually tried doing something crazy. Yes, I brought in the Rotom thinking I could farm down, and what a mistake that was. I tried to catch the move, but they weren't thinking that way. Great move on the opponent's part. We simultaneously switched. I was expecting them to throw. They did not throw, so they bring in the Alomomola. And now I come with the Rotom. Obviously Thunderbolt isn't going to KO from this range. Psychic is pretty much going to KO, so I pretty much threw this game, and we're making some pretty new plays here. The reason I came with Rotom was because I was trying to catch the move onto the Charizard, farm up energy on the Rotom, then switch out, but the opponent didn't throw the move. They stored the energy instead, swapped down to Alomomola, which was a very heads-up play on their part, and a well-deserved win for the opponent there. So RYOZAP here in the next match. We're going to lead Charizard into another Magcargo, so this is a horrible lead. And basically the only way to win this is to try and take switch advantage here. So we see a Vileplume come in, and obviously Vileplume is a very difficult matchup, so I'm just going to go for the Hyper Beam. Pretty much the only chance I have of beating Vileplume here, I think. Now if I had Foul Play, I could have probably got 2 shields because it's not a Shadow, but don't have Foul Play. So decide to just go for the Nuke, hope that they don't shield and take switch, but they don't. So I'm going to have to come in with Charizard here. This is looking really rough. Not exactly sure how we're going to be able to win this game, but at this point the Charizard is useless to me, so I let the Sludge Bomb go through because the Magcargo is just going to come in here and destroy it, right? So no point investing shields into Charizard. Have to bank on Rotom with 2 shields being able to do something here. We see the Magcargo come back in. I think my only play here is to go for the Hydro Pump. Hope they save that shield for Season 7 and do not use it here. Boom! Hydro Pump lands. Alomomola in the back. We have a shot here. Thunderbolts, can we get to 2 of these? This is going to be a very tight match. We get the first shield here. They can't really farm us down yet, so the waterfall damage isn't doing too much. I have 2 shields, so I'm going to shield up this first one. Actually, it looks like I don't even shield because that shield on Rotom is so tiny, you can barely see it. Gonna go for the Thunderbolt. They actually back out. I don't think that game was over yet, but we probably were okay there, but I don't think Thunderbolt would have KO'd, but either way, we should have probably won anyways. Use Momo here in the next match. We got Charizard into another Medicham. These fighting type leads are very common. Kind of makes you wish you are running wing attack, but I've been finding a lot of usage for fire spin anyways. This time we're going straight for the Blast Burn. Let's see if they choose to shield this. They do. We're getting all the calls wrong in this video. Gonna shield up this move right here. Expecting the Psychic, at least we got that one right. So we both went for the nuke moves. At this point, gonna go for the Dragon Claw. That Medicham's getting pretty low. I would expect a shield to come up, but they actually swapped down to Alomomola. I did not even see that, so great swap on their part. Unfortunate we threw that energy. Coming in with the Rotom here. Rotom has a very good matchup against Alomomola, except it will lose in the 2 shields, but fortunately there are only 1 shield left for each of us here. Vileplume comes in very bad. Gonna try and get off this Thunderbolt before we get Razor Leaf down. And this Thunderbolt still does decent chunk to Vileplume. You can see it's quite glassy. Get farmed down, I'm going to have to come in with the Charizard here. Now I'm throwing the Dragon Claw because I didn't want to have to shield a potential Sludge Bomb. So I felt getting rid of this Vileplume is more important here. See what they have in the back. Well, I know it's the Medicham actually, but let this go through. They have to throw the Psychic if they want any chance. Throwing the Power Up Punch means I'm going to get to this Dragon Claw, which is going to force their final shield. And that's going to make the game easy for Electrode. So basically, they were probably in a rough spot anyways, but their only play there was to throw the Psychic, get rid of the Charizard, and hope that they could clean up in the back after against the Electrode. But with the shield saved, Electrode's gonna have a pretty easy time there, so we take that game. Let's move into the next matchup here against Ramiro T3. And we are going to be leading a Charizard here into a Slowbro, so not what you want to see in the lead, obviously. We do have two pretty good answers for it in the back though, so I switch out into Electrode here, get met by a Scrafty. So this is a game where I could take switch because I have a pretty big energy lead. So I'm going to shield up the foul play. That's a huge call for us too. If that was Power Punch, would have made things a lot more difficult. But now we're in a good spot. So I should be able to get to 2 more discharges here before we get knocked out, which is going to be enough to take switch for me. So if the opponent were to shield here, they actually probably wouldn't be able to beat me to the next move. So they're probably going to give up switch if they do. Because I get to this discharge right now. Is this enough to KO? No, it's not. Okay, so we're going to simultaneously KO, which is not good, but not the worst situation ever. So now it's a guessing game. I come with the Rotom, hoping to see the Slowbro come in. We do guess correctly. And unfortunately for me, that Slowbro does beat us to a move from staying in a little bit extra, which means that my Rotom is going to be in big trouble. Well, I'm going to be in big trouble if there's another water type in the back. And look at this, it's another water hole team. I guess it's not really water hole because they weren't both in the back, but double water line, which is going to be absolute GG's for this Charizard right here. Nothing I could do there really. I played everything correctly. Even winning switch wouldn't have mattered because wouldn't have any answer for that double water in the back. So just leave that game. Touchan here in the next match. We got Charizard into Scrafty, another fighting type lead. Been seeing so many of these here. So always a guess game. This is way too early. I didn't even get to a Dragon Claw yet. Obviously a Power Up Punch. Do not recommend doing this if you are on the opponent's side. Want to at least pretend you're going for the foul play. I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw here. They do get the shield. It's very good. At this point, probably go for the Blast Bear. I'm going to shield this one up, and they do bait me again, so it's a little bit unfortunate. They get an extra counter in two somehow, so I actually am able to go for Dragon Claw because that was not CMP. And at this point, it's going to be a Power Up Punch, but I wasn't sure if it would KO with the 2 boosts. I decided to shield. Honestly, I don't think it would have KO'd, so maybe that was a mistake on my part. But double boosted, maybe it would have. I didn't want to take any chances there, so just switch on to Electrode here. We see a Scolipede come in. Here comes a Vileplume. Vileplume does not want to see this beam come through. Electrode about to Hyper Beam. I think Hyper Beam is the way to go on Electrode. Boom, there it is. One shot. The Vileplume Scolipede comes back in. Gonna get to a discharge as well. Electrode is absolutely rolling over the meta here. And Charizard could come in here basically, farm down, and take this game. Might actually even come with a Rotom to soak this damage. And then switch on to Charizard to Fire Spin down. Or I could just farm down with Thunder Shock. Doesn't really matter. Scolipede, very interesting pick as well in this meta, but had no play right there. Stuckling here in the next match. Looks like the snow is starting to lighten up a little bit. And we got Scolipede into Charizard. Beautiful lead. You love to see it, especially with Fire Spin. And they switch on to Electrode again. Very difficult match. Don't have an answer for Electrode on this team. So how are we going to play this out? Well, can't go for foul play. My only play here, I'm already behind 1 volt switch. I have to try and sneak in extra ones. I got 1 extra volt switch there. Prevent the volt switch coming from the opponent here. So very good. Go for the discharge. They let it go through. Kind of wish I went for the beam now, but totally fine. Going to shield this up. No, I'm going to let it go through. I'm going to have to shield up eventually though if I want to and switch. So if I didn't shield that one, I'm going to shield the next one for sure. They shield the discharge now. And look at this. We are going to get the extra volt switch once again. We're definitely about even now on energy. I'm going to go for the discharge here because, that was really close. Yeah, I'm going to go for the discharge here now. And if they do shield, we should be able to tie. But they don't shield, so they take the switch advantage. Charizard comes in. I have a discharge ready, which is absolutely huge for me. This Charizard is going to have to burn its final shield. Now, I'm going to come in with the Rotom here. Probably have to get a Blast Burn. This is going to be a pretty tough spot, and I can't allow this Charizard to switch out and catch this Thunderbolt. So I'm not throwing immediately. Trying to see if they switch. Looks like they're not. Throw this Thunderbolt in the middle of a Fire Spin animation, and we're going to knock out Charizard. Scolipede comes back in. We're able to line this up with the Charizard, so this is very good, and we're going to be able to take this game. So Scolipede eating up those Blast Burns, not liking the fire for dinner. Moving into the next matchup, we got ChestnutFeiFei. And we're going to be leading Charizard into a Alomomola. So one of the worst leads you could see. Immediately swap out into Electrode here. Wigglytuff comes in, so there's some play here. And last time I went for the beam, but it seems like everybody's shielding the beam right now, so I don't want to go for it. I'm just going to go for 2 discharges, trying to get off some damage here. You can see I do get to a second discharge. I was actually hoping that maybe I could take this by going the discharge route, but I'm not able to, and they're going to be able to get me those probably pretty good IVs on that Wigglytuff to survive right there. I think if it was maybe worse IVs, could have probably took switch there, just going straight discharge. They throw the move here. The Fire Spin did go through. I'm not going to shield this up because the Alomomola is going to destroy me. And I'm looking to switch into the Rotom immediately. Totally expecting a double charm line here, so looking pretty rough. And there it is, double charm. Pretty much my only win condition here is to land this Hydro Pump, hope it KOs, and then maybe I can land 2 Thunderbolts on. The Hydro Pump lands, but they get an extra charm through before going down. This is going to be pretty rough right here. Going to get off 1 Thunderbolt, but it really does not look like I'm going to get to 2. That 3 IV HP stat is not coming clutch at all right here. I feel like if I had more than 3, I may have survived an extra waterfall right there, but we're going to lose this game with 2 shields. You can see those somewhat playable. Rotom didn't land the Hydro Pump, but we end up taking a loss there. So BigCdizzle here in the next matchup. This is the final match of the set. I believe we got a Scolipede. So a nice breakfast here for Charizard. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you call it. Electrode comes in. Very difficult. And look, this time, playing it a little differently. I'm deciding not to switch onto Electrode yet. I know they have to shield this because Blast Burn will KO pretty much from this range. So I'm not going to take any chances. Throw the lower energy cost move. Now switch into my Electrode. And I want to shield here in case it is a Hyper Beam. Do shield. Now they show foul play. So I know they don't have Hyper Beam. And I get the extra Volt Switch in. So that's really good. These 4-turn moves I feel are the most opportune time to try and get an extra Volt Switches, extra moves. So I'm going to go for the discharge here. And that does not KO. And look at this. I do get the extra movement. So I know once I shield this, they will get knocked out. And I'm going to take... Well, I'm going to maintain switch advantage here because I know Scolipede can't really do anything to Charizard. But look at this. Scolipede about to eat a Hyper Beam. Will they burn the last shield? Boom! Another beam, 1-shot KO. Alomomola comes in. Gonna take this discharge to Electrode. Is absolutely OP. And coming at the Rotom here. Rotom will be able to survive a move from the Alomomola. Psychic is not going to knock us out. We're gonna land this Thunderbolt. Will this be enough to KO? It really does not matter. Charizard in the back will be enough to finish this off if necessary, but it KOs. We take that game. Very solid performance from the Electricole. So that was the Electricole team, double electric, Electrode and Rotom in the back, Charizard in the lead. Does win a lot of matchups, so I think Charizard is a pretty solid lead Pokemon for this meta. Electrode, obviously, one of the best safe swaps in the meta. Also a very good lead. Rotom in the back, probably the weak link for this team, and it also comes at a very steep investment. It is very fun, but it's definitely a spice pick. It is pretty much a poor man's Lantern. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this team. Let me know what teams you would like me to test out for the Love Cup. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.